Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Racer X Exhaust Podcast. I am Jason Weigandt. This is brought to you by Yoshimura. Nearly 7 decades of four-stroke research and development going into their exhaust systems, engine work, all designed, engineered, made in the USA. They have a factory in California. I've watched them turn raw materials into exhaust systems, and that would now include the all-new RS12 system that you can get for the Suzuki RMZ 250 and 450, developed hand-in-hand with the factory Suzuki folks and JGR. And somebody's calling me on their phone, darn it. Hey, caller ID says that was Chino, California. I'm not answering it, but I can only hope it's multi-time ATV motocross champion Gary the Chino Charger Denton, or maybe it's Rick Mellenman of Melons, Hay, and Feed from Winners Take All, based in Chino, California. But that's my home line. I don't need to answer that. I am going to answer a couple questions about 2020 Supercross, and then we'll get into our interview with RJ Hampshire. RJ, by the way, will make his debut for his new team, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, in Tampa next weekend. So consider this a little bit of a 250 East preview. As for the races we have seen so far, I do have some thoughts to share. I love the way the dynamic has broken out this year. Love it or not, every year starts with anyone can win, the field is so deep, this is going to be the year that's crazy and unpredictable, and between rounds, starting around 5, sometimes we get all the way to round 7, but usually in the 5 to 7 range, you really know what you have. The champion usually emerges at that point as the points leader, and it stays there. This year, I think, could be a little different. We're already seeing that standard pattern. The 10, 12 guys, anyone can win. It's all being pared down. Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac have been the best guys so far this year, hands down, bar none, no doubt about it. They've combined to win the last 4 races. They're 1-2 in points. They've gone 1-2 in a couple of the races themselves. And also, look, it's Eli Tomac and it's Ken Roczen. These are superstar guys. This is not shocking anyone. We're seeing the pattern of eliminating other contenders. We're seeing how it happens. Justin Barcia has been good this year. He did have the points lead for a little bit. He was really bad at round 3. He's been better at the last 2. But look, we do not have any data to support the idea that Barcia is suddenly going to go on some sort of roll and consistently be faster than Tomac and Roczen every single week, get these points back, and reel off the title. It could happen, but he's been racing these guys for a long time. It just doesn't seem like the likely scenario. Jason Anderson has been very good. He's been consistent. I've always been banging the drum that consistency alone doesn't get it done. I know Ryan Dungey was very consistent, but the years that Ryan Dungey won the title are the years where Ryan Dungey won a ton of races. 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5 is an awesome, consistent start to the year for Anderson. But we haven't seen anything from Jason indicating that he will die if he can't beat these two. He will kill himself to get it done. I think he's taken what he could get. We all think that that's how championships are won. It's not. They're won by winning races. So Anderson's not out of it. He certainly could do it. But you're starting to see a little gap between Roczen Tomac and him. Other guys, I really had high hopes for Zach Osborne coming into this season. Anything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, except that he's not injured. So any week could be the week where he puts it together. But it has been rough on Zacho the last couple of weekends. Malcolm Stewart had a ton of hype coming in. The fans love Mookie, but you could tell that he is trying to make it through the season and not wad it up like he did last year. So good for Mookie to be consistent, but he's not going to win the title this year. But it'd be awesome to see him get a podium or battle for a race win. Here's what makes this season intriguing. You've got Roczen and Tomac on top. They've established dominance over everyone else. They've done it by round 5, which is the traditional pattern. But the only reason this feels a little different is because of 2 other riders. First, in a minor role, a supporting role, Adam Cianciarulo. The hype train was also out of control. It was speeding downhill at an alarming rate coming into the season. People are stoked on Adam. People like Adam. Everyone knows Adam has talent, and he put things together really well last year. But myself, my buddies Matheson, JT, we always had the caveat of, yeah, but he's a rookie. You cannot heap those level of expectations on a rookie. I know Jeremy McGrath and Ryan Dungey won the title as rookies. Once again, that's 2 rookie champions in almost 50 years of Supercross. So the odds are not good that this would happen. And you're seeing the difference between a rookie and more experienced riders at the races. In qualifying, Adam has shown he can ride as well as anyone. He is as fast, if not faster, than everyone. But there are all these nuances. Managing the race, managing the track, bike changes as the track changes, all these things where in the races, the other guys are able to better him. They're not way better, but they're finishing ahead of him each week. I bet you there are days where he rides with Roczen and he's faster than Roczen. And there have certainly been practice sessions where he's been faster than Roczen. But in the races, Roczen is the one that is figuring it out how to get it done. That's just experience. It's just knowing how to execute, make the right decisions at the right time. Adam has been good, and because of that speed, you cannot say he's eliminated yet. There is the chance that he's going to get all these rookie things figured out and maybe go on a roll. I wouldn't say that's the likely scenario, but it's still a potential scenario. But the real intriguing part is Cooper Webb. He is really on the ropes right now. He has not ridden as well as Roczen and Tomac. He's had worse races as far as bad luck and being sick and problems. Normally that's what those guys are dealing with. This time he's dealt with it. So not only is he not riding as well, but he's got a big points deficit early. So in any normal year, you would just say this is the pattern, man. These 2 guys are broken away. But there's 2 things that are happening here. First, Roczen and Tomac have had points leads before. They've won races before. They've blown it before. So you cannot, after 5 races, just say stamp either of these guys. We've seen this before. We've seen it not come together. So there are no guarantees with these 2. Second of all, Cooper Webb back against a wall, on the ropes, in a hole, whatever you want to call it, is a different animal than most riders. For example, where I feel that Anderson is going to take what he can get, if he can beat Roczen Tomac, he'll do it, but I don't think he's going to die if he doesn't get it done. I do feel Cooper, in, of course, a figurative sense, will try to kill himself to beat these guys. I've heard here and there during the week he is not happy, he is grinding, he is trying, he's pissed off, he needs to get this bike better in the whoops, he needs to get himself better in the whoops. He is genuinely, absolutely concerned. He's not going to go down without a fight. Now, going into Oakland, I think everyone thought you were going to see a much improved Cooper Webb. He looked better in qualifying than he did at qualifying at the previous races. The track seemed like it would work better for him. It had a lot of tight corners where Cooper really excels. He can go so low in those 180 berms. And the track didn't have gnarly whoops like Anaheim 2 and Glendale, the previous 2 races. So everyone was thinking, this is the night Cooper gets on the board. And he was not getting on the board because in the main event, he was right there with Tomac, and Tomac marched away, and Roczen marched away, and that was very alarming. He didn't have it. He didn't have the speed that those 2 had. Now, ordinarily, that means you just take a 3rd or a 4th or whatever it is, and nothing you can do about it. But this is what, again, separates Cooper. He figured out a way to just manufacture something with just pure gumption down the stretch. He just rode out of his mind for the final 2 laps, while Roczen, I think, was cruising, or maybe Roczen was a little tired. I mean, no rider is going to say they're tired, but there is a chance that 20 minutes into a Supercross main event, maybe Roczen was at 92% energy level. I'm not saying he faded or it isn't in shape, but when most riders are just trying to bring it home, Webb exploited that, and he stole the position from Roczen. This is not a sustainable thing. He's not going to be able to rely on this type of performance to gain on these guys and win the title, but it just shows that he's not going down without a fight. I don't know if the fight's going to be enough for him to get in it, but it is going to be so fun to watch Cooper Webb try to dig himself out of a hole. We know how Cooper is, man. He has this weirdo swagger where he hates losing. He believes he can beat these guys, and he's going to leave no rock unturned. That's not a guarantee he's going to get it done, but boy, is it going to be interesting to A, see if he can right the ship, and B, see if Tomac and Roczen can finally sustain this. Or is the weirdo race coming for Tomac at some point, or the weirdo 2 or 3 races that we normally see? And as for Roczen starting a season strong and getting the points lead, we've seen that time and time again. I mean, literally, 2014, 2015, 2017. He had the points lead in 2019. Didn't get the title in those years. So you've got two opposite things happening at the same time. The never give up. When the chip is on the shoulder of Cooper Webb, he's very dangerous. And the Tomac Roczen not always able to deliver all the way to the end. It just makes it a little more intriguing than the traditional season. Because if it were the traditional season, we'd just be saying, look, it's already down to Roczen and Tomac, and then eventually one guy will get the edge on the other, and it'll be over. I think it's a little more dynamic than that. So that's pretty exciting. So in this episode, let's talk RJ Hampshire. As I said, he's switched to the Rockstar Husqvarna team. That also leads him to train now with Aldon Baker and not a sub-program, 250 program. In previous years, underneath Baker was Tyler Rattray, and the Rockstar Husqvarna and TLD 250 riders trained with Rattray. They rode at Baker's place, but they were on a separate program. I think Aldon would check in. Aldon would maybe supervise. That system is gone. Rattray is out, and Hampshire is training with Aldon. He's riding with Cooper Webb, Zach Osborne, Anderson when Anderson goes back to Florida, and Marvin Musquin when he's back from injury. So that's big. Team switch, trainer switch. He's changed everything. So that's RJ Hampshire, and he also reveals something that the world did not know about an injury during the offseason that he's managing, he says, so well that he's riding better post-injury than before. And he's going to give that information for the first time in this podcast. So let's go with RJ Hampshire. This is a big change. Not just teams. I think everybody knows you switch teams, but you also change like where you live and where you ride and all that. So I feel like we haven't seen you in ages. So first tell me about the living, training, riding part and how you changed all that.
Yeah, so it kind of, things kind of fell through last year with, a lot of stuff. So I was kind of just wanting a full restart and had that opportunity with, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, and that kind of led to another. And, I committed full before the season was even over that we were going to do everything right this year. And, no excuses. No one can say I didn't do something or, what if he did this? We committed to being all in. So, right after Indiana, we listed our house. I pretty much put everything up for sale, and it was look, we're going to move to Clermont, work with Aldon, and just kind of see where things go. And, dude, honestly, lucky enough, I got out of my place because I had my own track going for 2 years, and I had another year lease on it. So I was lucky enough that, Randy Yoho took care of that and sold my tractor, sold my RV, just kind of minimized and tried to make life a little bit more simple, and I could literally focus all on, racing. Then, of course, we had our daughter on October. So while this move was going on, my wife's pregnant, and then the day after, or 2 days after she was born, we moved into our new house. So, and then 2 weeks later, we ended up selling our other one. But yeah, dude, it's just been nonstop since then.
Yeah, what opened my eyes was in past years, it was like the TLD guys and Rockstar 250 guys were kind of like on a Aldon Baker sub-program that Tyler Rattray ran, but it was at Baker's place. But you're telling me this is a full-on Aldon program that you're on.
Yeah, like I said, I fully committed to, doing everything I could to be with Aldon. And things weren't for sure whenever we ended last year. And some things fell through and some things came up. And he hired Seth Rarick right there, right after I came over. Yep. Just to kind of oversee Moseman and I, and then one thing led to another, and Aldon writes my whole program, and pretty much I'm 95% of the time with Aldon. So I'm all in, and then Seth's been awesome. He literally took care of me the whole off season, which was cool, and then he's actually coming back next week. He's been in California for a bit, so it'll be nice to have him back.
So are you doing your motos with Osborne or, Marv's out right now, but when Webb's in Florida, et cetera, are you riding with those guys?
Yep. Yeah, every day. It's been me, Coop, Zach, and Mosey came. Yep. Mosey was here most of the time. But, yeah, dude, like I said, it's been everything. The only thing that was different there for a bit was, we were cycling in the mornings with Seth instead of with them, just because Seth lived closer to us. Right. To go cycling with them, it would have been kind of a headache to have to wake up and then drive to go cycle, where we could cycle right from our house.
On the outside, everybody's like, oh, dude, the program's so gnarly. So is the program so gnarly?
I mean, yeah, I mean, when I came over, I swear Aldon tried to kill me the first, week or two. Like,
okay.
Things were, like, I was like, dude, all right, like, I'm fully committed. I'm going to believe whatever, you tell me right now. So, dude, the first week in the gym was insane. Like, I was like, dude, I've got a lot of work to do. And then cycling, like, it was a lot at first. And, I think he did that on purpose just to prove to me, like, you're not as fit as what you think you are or whatever. But then I got into a groove, and honestly, your body just adapts to it. Like, it's every day. Like I just told you, before I would do what I wanted and what I knew. I mean, you only know, like, I was training the hardest I knew.
You weren't not training. Like, you thought you were working hard, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was working as hard as I knew, like, and I feel like I'm fit. Like, I was really fit last year, and like, even outdoors, like, it wasn't like I was a guy that was going to fade or something like that. But it was just kind of the whole puzzle, like, the gym, the cycling, the riding, the motos, like, dude, it's every day. And the intensity, I think, is where, I lacked a bit. Where, like I said, now every day it's Coop, Zach, and Mosman, like, dude, we're going at it. So, I mean, having that intensity riding kind of makes your whole week a bit harder.
Yeah, I would imagine. So it's like you can do motos either way, but when you're doing motos where you're pushing your absolute limit, that has to be a massive difference in the workload just to be pushing that hard.
Yeah, big time. And it was kind of hard to get myself to really do that just because I knew my week was going to be hard. So I was like, all right, I don't want to blow myself out on Monday on the track and then kind of struggle the rest of the week. So it was like, all right, I'm going to kind of, not take it easy, but, maybe not 100% and save a bit for, Tuesday riding where it was literally every day. It's like, dude, you're going out there to win, which was cool. I mean, cool for me to see that it was like my body's able to do that and kind of adapt to it. But honestly, like, dude, I've learned so much. I'm getting older now and I've been in 250 class a while, but dude, I almost feel like a rookie whenever I came over here. Every day I was learning new things and new bike. Like, dude, I had to relearn like a whole bike, whole team, training program, like you name it. Like, everything was different. And I got to train with some of the best dudes on Supercross, Coop and Zach every day, and just to see how they go about their day, and I guess just kind of see how they struggle too. Like, dude, it wasn't just me who had bad days. Like, dude, it's cool just to see that they can, they're human. I mean, dude, they've had some rough days, and I was able to see that, and then how they kind of regroup, and then next day, they're fast as could be.
Yeah, I've always wondered how most of us are judging you guys based on a very slim thing, which is 15 to 20 minutes once a week, one particular moto. It sounds like the during the week motos, there's a lot more variance than we realize. Like, every rider's got like a 5 to 10% range, and we only happen to see one of those motos. There's a lot more variance than we probably realize.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, if you kind of look at our whole off season, I mean, all four of us, I don't think probably a total of 6 posts on Instagram between all of us.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just kind of a deal where it was like, look, we're busting our ass right now. So it's like, we don't really want to take the time. And honestly, we didn't even really have photos or videos or anything to post. So we were just kind of grinding.
What's interesting is, and I don't know if you talked to Zach about this, like, Zach, you're on the same team Zach was on in the 250s. He moved to Aldon's program, and he took a huge jump, and then he started winning titles pretty much on the regular. Have you thought about that? Have you talked to him about that? Like, you're almost on the same pattern that he was on, say, 3 years ago, like going into 17.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how similar our story is going right now. Like, not many know, like, whenever he came over, he got hurt. As soon as he got over to Aldon's, well, same thing kind of happened. Things were going good. Mm-hmm. Things were going really good, and had a little hiccup December 2nd, actually.
Oh, okay.
And, man, we thought things were going sour after this whole move. And, but, yeah, like, Zacho, honestly, kind of took me in when this whole deal went down. I was actually in California with him right after I did it. Uh-huh. And it was just kind of, it was good to have someone that knew what I was going through and exactly, what kind of risk we took doing this whole deal. And And, yeah, I mean, Zacho's someone I look up to now big time.
So you're good now? You're back? Everything's healed up and you're riding and getting ready and all that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'd rather it come out now than when round one comes around, because I do feel like I'm completely over it, and you know, I'm better now on the bike than what I was before.
Okay.
I haven't had any. Yeah, there's some good days, there's some bad days, and realistically, like I'm going to tell you the truth, I haven't missed a day of riding since it's happened.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, December 2nd, right before we were about to fly to California, just normal practice day, and came in, hit my leg pretty hard, and my handlebar came down right on top of my knee. So, yeah, we kind of, I didn't know what exactly happened at the, moment, because I've never done my knee before.
Yeah.
So, flew to California, rained out the whole week, so I didn't really have to ride. Ended up coming back Thursday, got my MRI Friday, and man, whenever, we got the results, like, dude, we thought my season was over. Wow. I pretty much, I blew my knee out.
Wow.
So that was December 2nd. So, we talked to Aldon. I sent him the MRI. And, man, it's hard to kind of explain it, where it was like, dude, we weren't letting that kind of stop us. So, I blew my knee out December 2nd and just kind of been grinding through it. There's a couple weeks where it was like, it was tough, really tough on the bike. But, dude, honestly, like I told you, we're in a really good spot right now. I was nervous there really nervous that we made the wrong decision. But, yeah, I'm stoked on it now. I've done everything I could. I had my guys working with me here at home. I hired Dr. G for the year. So it was like, dude, the mind is so powerful, where it was like, hey, I'm not going to, let this stop me. Like, we're gonna find a way to make it work.
Yeah, so your plan coming into Tampa is no excuses. You're not feeling it out. You're trying to keep your goals right where they would have been with or without the knee injury.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I wanted to come out now, because, like, say I go out and win Tampa. Yeah. Now, then it comes out, and it's like, okay, I'm trying to be like a hero or a legend or something. Or say I go out and get a 10th, and it's like, all right, well, now he's making an excuse. So it's like, dude, look, I'm better on the bike now than what I was before. I don't have any, there's going to be pain, but it's not terrible. I can drag my knee. I can do whatever. Big cases, we fought through it big time, and I've just literally been rehabbing, doing everything I could, and like I said, dude, we're in a good spot, really good spot.
Well, look, there's guys that have ridden even without ACLs for years, like their whole career. Like in motocross, it's not like, okay, football, basketball, there's nothing you can do. But we've definitely seen it go 50-50, I feel, in moto terms. Sometimes it's bad, there's nothing you can do, you got to get it fixed. But it's not like you'd be the first rider ever to be going fast. It doesn't, maybe some people will be hearing this and think this sounds crazy, but it's been done before. Yeah,
big time. And honestly, when I got the results back, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, great. Like, there goes my whole Supercross season. Like, let's get ready for outdoors now. And,
right.
We just kind of came up with a plan where it was like, look, we're going to, test this thing out and see how it is. I didn't miss a day of riding. So that's where it was like, all right, we're going right back into this. Like I said, man, the mind is so dang powerful, whereas I could just block it out. Where it was like, look, we're going to make it happen no matter what, no matter how much pain we're in. So yeah, dude, I got my knee really good. Cool. Even my tibia kind of had a fracture on that. Dislocated my fibular head, like tore that ligament. So there was multiple things wrong. But yeah, just kind of have to deal with it. Yeah,
well, I guess, look, you know how you were riding before December 2nd and how you're riding now, and you're okay?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's right. Like, it's funny to think about when people say, like, things are going too good, where something's got to happen.
Yep.
And that's where we were. Things were just clicking off. Like, I've been without him for almost, it's probably 2.5, 3 months by this time.
Right.
And no hiccups. Like, dude, I don't even think I laid the bike over once. Like, things were just going good, too good. And sure enough, that happened. And honestly, I just kind of see it as, like, a little challenge, a little bump in the road, but hey, I'm still here, and I'm feeling really good on the bike now, and where we're at.
Yeah, so let's talk about the team switch. You did give props to Geico Honda when you left, to thank them for your time, and they really did, when coming from your amateur to pro, I mean, that was a massive, massive thing for you. So I think you have respect for who you rode for. So what led you to, this is a pretty big change. So what led you to make this decision?
Like I said, dude, there was some things going on that needing a full restart or reboot of my career.
Yeah.
Didn't really know what I was wanting, and kind of spent a lot of time over there where, I was expecting different.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change if, you don't make a change. So,
yep.
Yeah, we, Husqvarna or KTM is where I wanted to be. And I think kind of everybody knew that. I had a couple other options whenever we made the decision, but this, like I said, this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be training with Aldon, and pretty much the whole package they bring. So when this deal came up, I was all in. I didn't get to ride the bike yet, so it's like, man, I'm signing this contract with pretty much just from what I see. So I didn't even get to get on the bike till I think it was the end of September, or maybe beginning of September. And yeah, right away I knew it was a good decision on my part, and I was really happy with the bike from get-go, and got training on it. Came straight to Aldon's. Then I literally made one suspension change from then till 2 weeks ago when I was in California.
Jeez.
So yeah, literally it was the bike they sent me, and I was loving it. So I went to California, and this is 4 months on the bike, and we just make a handlebar change. So went out there, and you would think I would have this figured out by now, but we dropped my handlebars and literally felt so much more comfortable on the bike. And then we tested suspension all week, and then I ended up back on where I started.
Were you a little nervous when you first got on it, when you make that decision based on that?
Yeah, big time. I mean, dude, you're talking about completely different, chassis,
yeah,
whole different feel. And once I got on it, though, I could understand, I just kind of look at Cooper and, see how he is able to, like, cut down and pretty much cut the track, like, so much of the track off, where it was like, man, I can't really do that with whether it was my setting or the bike or whatever. And then another thing was how he's always able to, like, jump, kickers or jump braking bumps or anything, really jump the whoops.
Mm-hmm.
This chassis allows you to do those things. Like, I gotta say now, it's when I'm doing these motos, it's like, man, I'm doing things that I never thought I'd be able to do or could never do before. Which, I mean, each chassis has a different, positive and negative.
Yep.
Even the motor, like, this motor is sick when you're high in the revs, and that's where I'm at. I mean, dude, I would rev my Honda so much where now this bike performs at its best when it's in its revs.
So that's kind of your style.
Yeah, I mean, like everything I say right now is all talk because, dude, I haven't even gone racing on this. So I literally have, I know I feel good. I know I'm riding good, but it's like, man, whatever I say right now is kind of goes back to my last results because we haven't been racing since Indiana outdoors. My Supercross season last year wasn't great. So it's like, yeah, okay, this guy's going to come into the season and be the same. So, yeah, I mean, my bike's sick. I feel good. But I can't really say too much until we go racing.
Well, yeah. I mean, every single guy comes into every season saying, this is going to be the year. I'm feeling better than ever. Everybody's like that, right? No one really knows.
Yeah, exactly. Until I go racing, like, dude, I was riding with Mosey, and, when I did my knee, like, Mosey was crushing me. So it was like, all right, whatever, like, kind of just had to take it. Like, there was a lot of patience that I had to have for, 2 or 3 weeks. And then, he's riding well, but it's just I haven't rode with anyone else besides Zach and Coop now. So it's like, yeah, we're coming into Tampa pretty much blindfolded. I mean, I know what I'm capable of. So, I guess we can talk after Tampa.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I respect that. You know that everybody gets pumped in their own way, and you just don't know until you race. By the way, you could have, like, was there an opening if you wanted to stay at Honda? This wasn't a move because you're like, I have to find a place to go. This was a move that you wanted to make. Like, could you have stayed where you were?
Yeah. I had another year on my contract. And
wow.
Also, I had like everybody knows, I had a really good relationship with Jeff and Ziggy and the owners.
Yep.
And we pretty much made a deal where it was like, I have a spot the rest of my 250 career.
Right.
So, yeah, that move was pretty big. But,
Yeah, it wasn't a desperation move. It was a move you wanted to make, not you had only one option type thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it was a move to kind of save my career and kind of save my riding, really. And honestly, it's changed my whole mentality, really. Like, I wouldn't say that I wasn't a fan of the sport, but I just couldn't get myself to really watch races or, read articles or really anything, where now it's like I kind of get joy out of doing it. And, I've watched a couple races 2 times now where that's never happened in my life. So just trying to be more a fan of the sport, which I feel like brings a lot more to, me riding and me having good days.
Wait a minute. Why is that? How would that change? That is so weird. You're actually doing more work than ever in a way. So how's that?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, just kind of restarting. Like, this is my career, it's my job. So let's, be a fan of it. Let's kind of embrace it, really. I mean, even my wife, like, she could tell you, like, did a full restart. I mean, yeah, I keep saying that, but it's no joke. We kind of fully committed to being, a great, better person on the bike, better person off. And, dude, I'm enjoying it. Like, I like going to the track and, suffering every day now. It's fun. It's fun to me now.
Wow. I feel like you have tried so many different things. Didn't you even have a CrossFit thing like 3 years ago? Something like that? Weren't you even trying that? I feel like you've tried so many different things. Like, you've definitely tried, I feel.
Yeah, no, like, there's never a lack in effort. I mean, dude, we've tried it all. Like, and that's where I feel like now I've found something that works for me. And, like, I'm able to push myself more. And I feel like a lot of guys, they get burnt out. And I'm not saying I might not be, but or like they're tired from this program or, get beat down. But, dude, I literally think I've had one day where I felt like I had a talk with Aldon about it. It was a few weeks ago, and it was just like, dude, like, I don't feel it today. And other than that,
yeah,
I mean, every day has been solid.
Wow. Do you still keep in touch with some of the Geico guys? I know the Lawrence's rode, I think, with you a little bit last year. Like, do you still, now that you're a little bit more into watching or a fan or whatnot, do you still keep in touch with some of the people over there?
Yeah, actually, I was at Anaheim too, and I went over there and talked to the whole team. So,
mm-hmm.
And that was good. I mean, we don't, like, there's no love lost between us or no hate, really.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I left on good terms with everybody over there. And then, yeah, Lawrence's and I we're still good. He was actually just at my birthday dinner a couple weeks ago.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, we're all set.
Okay, I'm going to shift gears here and go way back. There's 2 things I want to ask you about. I want to eventually get to even the head injury from way back. But even before that, your whole background, if we go into the Racer X vault in Loretta's, there are so many. There's RJ Hampshire, there's Ricky Hampshire, there's your sister, Marissa. Can you explain your family riding background? It looks like there's like 100 of you that have raced. Can you explain all this?
So there was my dad, and he was good back in the day.
Yep.
And then I believe his sister raced
okay.
for a little bit, and then her son, Kalen Fitzpatrick, he actually won a title at Loretta's.
Oh, wow.
On like 50s, I think. He's my cousin.
Okay.
And my sister at the time, she was racing. I think, yeah, she's won a title at Loretta's also. And then also went pro. And it just kind of led into me where I didn't even really like dirt bikes growing up. Really. I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm along for the ride. But my dad was always just with my sister, so I was just big into sports. But yeah, so pretty much just my dad started it all and kind of dwindled down from there.
But it is weird because you would think because your family was so into it already that would mean that you're more into it, but it sounds like it was actually the opposite.
Yeah, no, I wasn't part of like the dirt bikes I was. So Coop actually brought it up a couple weeks ago, and I remembered it, but I just never thought about bringing it up. And actually Wes Williams.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it was like 02 at Loretta's. I got second in the championship to Cooper.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, he brought it up. I was like, dude, just imagine how much different my career would have been if I won that back in 02. But, yeah, so it was just kind of up and down. Like, yeah, I raced, but didn't really care much about it. And then sports and where I lived, there was a bunch of, like, trail riding and mud-bogging. And, dude, just Yeah, I had a 4-wheeler for a while, and I would spend way more time on that than I would on my dirt bike. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so I rode a quad for a while, just not like racing a quad, but always go like trail riding and stuff like that with my buddies.
Just like teenager, mud-bogging, quad, having a good time.
Yeah, like we had trails out back behind my house, and like there's always big like redneck parties out in the mud pits. And, yeah, it was like I lived a normal life. Like I didn't live a dirt bike. Pretty much set you up from you're 10 years old. Yeah, I went to school and just had fun with it.
Yes, and then explain the baseball part for you.
Yeah, so baseball was just something I played from when I was a little kid and never quit. Where dirt bikes I did for a little bit. So just always loved it. Kept getting better and better, and was playing ball in school, high school, and actually so my senior year I didn't. Actually, no. Let me go back. My junior year. So my second semester junior year, baseball season starts second semester.
Yeah.
Like my dad finally let me get homeschooled. But the deal was I still had to play baseball. Or my mom said that, I could finally do homeschooling, but my dad said that I had to play baseball still. So yeah, that lasted like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I was like, there's no way this is possible. Because at the time I was training with Timmy Ferry and making the drive back from the track to go to baseball practice. And yeah, just there was no possible way. But my dad always told me, like, if I wanted to quit a sport, like, that's fine. Well, he always thought it would be dirt bikes, not baseball. So he was pretty bummed at that point.
Well,
yeah,
look.
Since then, it all changed.
Well, yeah, it's worked out for you now, but I mean, obviously your family is a bit of a racing family, but we all know, look, baseball has its upsides. The chances of catastrophic injury less, and probably the expense and stress on your parents probably less. So even though your dad was a dirt bike guy, he kind of liked the baseball thing?
Yeah, big time. He wanted me to be a baseball player or a dirt bike racer.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a pretty sweet deal. But how good were you? So I guess through, say, your sophomore year, when you were still going to school, like, where were you as a baseball player?
No, I mean, I was pretty good. I was my freshman year. I mean, I was first team all conference for varsity. So
wow,
as a catcher.
Yep.
So yeah, I was catching my freshman year. Sophomore year, I was pitching quite a bit. And then junior year, I mean, who knows what could have happened, but just really didn't get the joy out of it as what I did on a dirt bike. So, and I felt like I had good opportunities at this time to make something in motocross. So we left that behind.
Hey, what's up? Let's take a quick time out with this RJ Hampshire interview to remind you this is the Racer X Exhaust podcast brought to you by Yoshimura. Nearing 7 decades of four-stroke research and development, they've been putting great exhaust systems on road racing bikes and street bikes for a long, long time. And with the advent of four-strokes taking the mantle in motocross, Yoshimura is a top name now on dirt bikes too. So go to yoshimura-rd.com and check out all the stuff for all the different bikes, be it street or dirt. And also go to racerxonline.com/subscribe. We're in the waning moments of our subscribe to the magazine and get a free bag of Evil Deadline Blend coffee. I'm drinking some right now. It helps me get these podcasts done. I'll have more on Evil Coffee in a minute, but let's get back to RJ and his transition from baseball to moto. I get to ask the question now I ask for everyone in your situation. Do you feel now, because you weren't as all out on dirt bikes at age 10, that it's actually a little bit better these days, especially with that burnout portion?
Yeah, I mean, I feel, like I said, dude, I'm still learning. Like, I know it's coming into my 6th year, but I feel like young. I mean, I'm only 24, but still, like, now 24 is kind of old in the sport, where it's like, man, I just keep kind of learning each year and, finding new things. So, yeah, I feel like I do have some positives to that.
Okay, so let's get into that head injury from Straight Rhythm. When a rider gets hurt in an off-season race, they eventually make it back, and it's a couple months later, so you never know how bad it really was. And you didn't really talk about it much. You just kept on racing. Were you actually, when you first got back to racing the next season, was that in the past? Is it gone, or is that actually something that you had to work through for a long time, even though you were still racing? Were you ready when you first came back?
Dude, I don't even have an answer for you because I don't really remember that time.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm there when I'm racing, and I feel like I'm good, but there's so much that I don't remember from, that year or even 2 years.
Wow.
So it's hard to really say. You feel great. I was doing all the tests and doing all, the work I could to, get the results, and had the doctors. They all told me I'm good. So, I mean, if they're telling me I'm good, I'm not going to not race. Like,
right.
You're going to go out there and, try to give your all. And I feel like, some days I was really fast. Some days I wasn't. So you can't blame it on the head. But, yeah, I definitely did lose a lot of memory, and feel like it could have been different. But who knows? Who knows if I would have waited 2 years, and then what I went through then just happens 2 years later. So it's like it was good to kind of get it out, get it over with. I don't have any lingering issues now that I know of. I remember everything, and there were some times where it was like I couldn't tell you what happened on the track. I mean, I know that kind of happens a lot with people, but dude, I couldn't tell you really anything. Even today, if you asked me what I got 2018 at Indianapolis or something, there's no chance I'm going to remember that. Unless I won or got a third or on the podium, there's no chance I can tell you what happened.
Wow. Yeah, but you're saying on race day, it wasn't like you'd come in from practice and you're like, how's the bike feel? And you're like, dude, I have no clue. In the moment, you were somewhat okay.
Yeah, in the moment, most of the time I could.
Yeah.
But if I came off the track and you didn't ask me right away, and I went up to the lockers or something and got dressed and then kind of came up, you would have had to have brought it up to me for to remember it. I wouldn't have been oh yeah, someone hit me here. That was just kind of hard for me to remember.
Well, this whole thing is so strange, the head injuries. Did you know immediately oh, this is because I had a big concussion and I'm recovering from that? Or do you not even necessarily know what you're feeling or what the problem is? Because it's not like it's on a piece of paper and said you're going to go through this, this, and this. Did you not even necessarily know all the time, what was from the concussion and what was just normal?
Yeah, dude, I had no idea.
You
don't. You think that's part of life now. You think that's normal.
Right.
Like you just said, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get through it. I just kind of accepted the fact that, that's how it was going to be from now on. I didn't even know if that's how I was before.
Because you couldn't remember?
Yeah, it's so hard to really say,
yeah.
What's going on. And I think a lot of guys do kind of struggle with that after that. And, like myself. And I even hit my head a couple times where it didn't get worse. I had a concussion, I think, that year after that when I was riding. And who knows if that kind of extended,
right.
the part of not remembering or not.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I felt normal. I didn't feel different or feel like I was kind of in any danger at all.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, say with a knee injury that you're dealing with right now, exactly it did feel like this, now it feels like this. But it sounds like the head injury, you can't make those black and white, easy yes and no decisions. It's all kind of this is a bad term to use, but almost fuzzy as to is this the concussion? Is this just me? It doesn't seem like people know for sure a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, exactly. You have no idea. And wow. I don't think people can explain it like that either unless you kind of went through it. The doctors or whatever that you go to.
Yeah.
They've got the research, but they can't really tell you exactly, what's going to happen. Even I can't. I went through it. But, I could at least have a little bit of insight on, what actually goes down.
Yeah, and you don't need to name names because some riders don't want to be public about it. But did you find some riders did that help? Can you find other riders that have maybe been through it to get a little info?
I couldn't even tell you if I talked to anyone about it.
No way.
I don't remember, but I know I went to this doctor up in Michigan that was one of the best, and the whole Wasserman agency set me up with that one.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I was going to some Joe Schmo and Tampa. Dude, I was going to the best guy possible. But I'm sure a lot of guys kind of went through the same deal. And actually, I've had guys hit me up now that kind of went through it, or that are still kind of going through it.
Yeah. Yeah, so if just because dudes are racing, that's not the ultimate, I guess he's 100%. There's dudes racing that are still trying to figure stuff out. You did.
Yeah, and they don't know it. If you ask them, they're going to say, I'm normal. That's what I was saying every weekend. Yeah, I feel fine. I feel normal.
Yeah, it wasn't like you were hiding it from the team. You just didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, at this time, I spent I'd say 6 or 7 weeks in California whenever I got back riding. And, dude, just so much of it's a blur. And honestly, the first, like, those next 2 years were so much of a blur.
So can you pinpoint when you started, like, last season? Was last season, like, normal again? Or could you remember stuff?
I mean, even at the beginning of 18, like, dude, I came into Supercross feeling pretty dang good.
Yeah.
I had that big crash at Daytona.
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, before that, I felt pretty dang solid. I think it was coming into 18 is whenever I kind of got it all back.
Oh, okay. All right. So lately, you do know at least this. You're remembering the stuff that you're supposed to remember nowadays, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I feel normal.
Okay. Is it almost helpful? Like, is it a little less scary because you didn't necessarily know you were messed up? Because I would think, dude, especially with all the stories you hear about concussions with football players and stuff, you had to be a little worried, or were you not even knowing enough to be worried?
Dude, just all the results and all the stuff I was getting done all told me I'm normal. Like, that's it. Like, I'm fine. So you just don't even think about it. So that's what I wasn't thinking about it. I mean, I wasn't turning left when the track's going right. Like, I remembered the track as it was happening. Like, it wasn't in the moment. I'm good. It's just after the fact is whenever it kind of I lose it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you didn't have any like crazy emotional stuff or anything like that.
No, I mean, not that I know of.
Yeah. Again, maybe it's better. Sometimes you don't know
exactly.
all this stuff. So what's happened is you kind of got a little bit of a late start as far as taking it seriously. This head thing may or may not have slowed you down for a while. So 24 does sound out on paper, but, your lead time and then the time you've had, it's all been kind of messed up a little bit. So that's probably a reason to have a little more confidence here that, okay, I'm still learning, like you were saying. You've got a couple of legitimate reasons to think that, I guess, instead of excuses of just being right off some years. Almost legitimate reasons, I would say.
Yeah, I would think so, but, a lot of people probably won't think that. They just look at the age and how many years I've been in the class. So,
yeah,
I'm gonna be on their side where can't really make excuses to that. You just look at the results and kind of go from there. Where I'm okay with accepting the fact that I'm 24 and this is my 6th season and I've yet to get a Supercross win. So that's honestly coming into the season. Like, let's start with that. Let's go out, get our first win, and go from there. Where these guys hired me to win a championship, but we have to start with a win, and like I said, go from there.
Yeah, because you've won a national, so if the knee was bad, like you thought it was at first, and you had to skip Supercross, it might sound like, oh, well, that's easy, just skip Supercross and come back for outdoors. But it sounds like you wouldn't have been totally satisfied if you didn't get a shot at Supercross and getting that win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought about it. Get the knee fixed, coming in the outdoors and be solid, but I didn't do all this to go in, and I want to win an outdoor championship, but man, realistically, Supercross is where it's at. So I've got a lot to prove. I only got 2 podiums last year, and I felt like I should have been better than that. And I'm sure everybody agrees. And now, with this whole change, training with Aldon, putting in the off season I did, I expect myself to be up there, and I'm sure everybody else does also.
Wow. You're just in a really strange mental state where it's like whatever they pile up on you right now, you can just shrug it off. It's got to be a good feeling to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done everything I could. I mean, even though with my knee, I hired the people I needed to. I've done the work I needed to. It was just kind of just add on to it. And I'm okay with that. Like, I accepted the fact that it was going to be harder than, a normal injury or, if I was completely healthy. And honestly, I think it kind of grew me. I mean, it made me stronger now. It's kind of cliche to say because, we can say that now, we're in the spot. But, man, it was tough there for a couple of weeks. I've never had to ride through so much pain in my life. And it was all worth it. Those couple of weeks where I was thinking, man, what are we doing? Like, let's just get this thing fixed and, focus on outdoors. But like you said, I wouldn't have been satisfied really with only racing outdoors this year. So I went to work. I mean, I've done everything I could around my knee to strengthen it up. And yeah, like I said, I'm in a good spot, really good spot. It doesn't affect me. Sometimes I might hit it here and there, but it's a 10-second, little runoff, and then I'm good to go again.
My last thing, you mentioned your dad. It's worked out pretty well for you in motocross. Now, how do they feel about that? You haven't made it as far as I know. You have goals results wise, but you've certainly gotten a job. You've gotten a factory ride. How do they feel about the whole career choice these days?
Yeah, no, they're 100%. Like they're stoked for me, and I mean, if where I'm from, Hudson, Florida, I mean, you really don't necessarily see someone come out and be at this level. So they're all they're all supportive of it. Like I have my own family now, so
yeah,
we're kind of focusing on that. Like I grew up fast, moved away from them.
Yep.
And so I would say they're happy for me, and I'm happy on the choices that I made also.
Okay. So yeah, this is Florida geography. Most people would hear, oh, he's from Florida. He's like, there's 100 of these guys. There's so many guys that come out of Florida. What you're saying is you're not necessarily from that area where some of these other guys might be.
Yeah, well, actually, I live there now. I'm not from Clermont, where I live now. I'm actually from a place called Hudson, which is pretty much the west coast of Florida. Like I grew up probably 10 miles from the coast.
Right.
And then last couple of years I lived in Brooksville, Wesley Chapel area, which was close to Dade City, which is Chad Reed's place.
Yep.
Where Chad and Timmy Ferry lived. And now I'm in Clermont. I probably have within 5 mile radius, I've got, Alex Martin, Ken, Chase, Zacho, Coop. I mean, dude, that you name it.
Baggett's place.
Right, yeah, and I'm neighbors with Mosman pretty much. So, yeah, we're all right through here.
Yeah, but that's not where you're from. It's the same state, but this is not at all where you're from. You were in the quad mud-bogging trails sector.
Yeah, exactly. I was close to the coast, but it was like Redneckville kind of. Yeah, that's where I grew up. And now I'm in kind of the hills a bit of Florida.
Yeah.
And then I go ride pretty much in the swamp. Where the tracks are, it's kind of away from town. But yeah, no, I honestly, I like where I'm at right now, where the house is, and the whole family deal. So things are going good.
Yeah, where are you at? I've been in the neighborhood where like Ken lives, and like I think Dean's got a house on the lake, and where Duns used to live. Like, are you in that neighborhood or in that area?
Probably about 4 miles north. Yeah, so I'm close. Alex Martin lives probably 2 miles from me. Bozeman's right here. Dude, if you go down 27, which is right next to my house, you probably have another 5 guys within 2 miles.
It makes me laugh. Like one year I was down there for Daytona and I had like a free day and I'm like, I got to find these dudes. So I knew, I'm like, if I go on a jog at about 8 or 8:30 near this lake, I'll see somebody. And dude, it took 3 minutes for like AC and whoever else was training with Blake Savage at the time. It was like 4 of them came riding up on road bikes like almost instantly. I think it was Craig and Sealy maybe or something like that. It's total motocross town. It's hilarious.
Yeah, no, like we'll run into, AC and Ken and even Chase sometimes on cycles, but it's like, I mean, you just wave, kind of go by, with your own deal.
But there isn't any mean mugging. If everybody runs into each other at a restaurant or something, everybody's cool?
I've yet to run into someone off of the road.
Oh, okay.
No, like I haven't ran into anyone at Publix or anything like that. Just cycling. Yeah,
and by the way, I ask this to everybody. It's my last thing. Like, does anyone in the area that just lives there, do they even know that they're like this global hub of a particular sport? Or does the town not even realize this?
No, I don't think these guys have any idea. I mean, even I've got probably 4 or 5 neighbors right by me, and they have no clue what I even do. Or yeah, I mean, they might watch Supercross, but they have no idea that I'm their neighbor. But yeah, it's funny. Like some guys, oh yeah, like what do you do at the coffee shop?
Yeah,
and then oh yeah, we like race motocross. They're like, why are you here? Like, what's in Clermont? Like, dude, only if you guys knew.
Oh my gosh, they don't even know that that's their town. Yeah.
Dude, we have there's 4 facilities within 5 miles from Aldon's place. I never knew how close everything was till you actually look at a map and you're like, wow. Like you can hear other guys riding.
Yeah, unbelievable. And because at your level, your bike's just there. It's not like you're loading up every morning to go riding or anything. So it seems all normal.
No, exactly. Like my guys, my neighbors see Rockstar Energy and they're like, oh yeah, he must work for Rockstar. He's going to the Pepsi shop or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell them. I've always found if I'm wearing a jacket with an energy drink logo from a race, They just think you're going to give them free drinks. And then when you tell them you're not working for that division, oh, they're so bummed. You have no value to them unless you can hand them free Rockstar. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, my neighbor, he actually had like a big Rockstar fridge in his garage. So like to start a conversation, I was like, "Hey, dude, like you work for Rockstar?" He's like, "Oh no, just a big Rockstar fan." I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, that kind of ruined it."
That's what I'm saying. That's the most. You might think what you do is kind of cool, but the guy who can hand out free drinks, he's the coolest one of all. All right, that's RJ Hampshire. I cannot stress enough how much he does not want this knee injury, this ACL injury, that's what it is, to be a talking point. He swears he's riding better now than he was before the injury. He's not going to use it as an excuse. He does want to get it out there because this dumb idea of keeping things secret is just dumb. So the right thing to do is just say it. But he's not using it as an excuse. If he does well or he doesn't do well, that's on him. I think you could tell he's pretty much a straight shooter from this interview. So we'll see how it goes. In Tampa, East is going to be on fire. I mean, you got Chase Sexton as a champ. You got Jordan Smith coming in now on Pro Circuit. You've got Shane McElrath switching over to Star Racing. You've got Jeremy Martin back. And there are a lot of other guys to talk about, too. I'm probably leaving someone out, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for it. But this should be great, starting in Tampa next weekend. Now, one other thing on the show before we're done. I've been mentioning our latest promotion. You get free coffee if you subscribe to RacerX, the magazine. Go to racerxonline.com/subscribe right now. Big thanks to the folks at Evil Coffee for hooking us up with the special RacerX Deadline Blend. And I don't know how or why this even happened. How did this connection even get made? The only way to find out, I called Ross from Evil Coffee to figure this out. Here we go. So I have Ross D'Antonio from Evil Coffee. This is strange. We are giving coffee away if you subscribe to RacerX, which is not the traditional thing we give away, but it actually makes more sense in many ways because we call it Deadline Blend. So Ross, honestly, there's nothing that is more important to us getting our stuff done. And even the riders. Like, I don't know a single person that doesn't drink coffee at all. So maybe this is the best fit we've ever had, if you think about it that way.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, the deadline's for everyone, right? Getting motors in bikes, getting rigs to races, and getting articles to print.
100%. So how did this come about? You're kind of a small brand there out of Columbus, Ohio area. How did we even get on your radar, and how did you get on our radar and all that?
It's kind of a weird turn of events.
Yep.
I used to race moto back in the day for many years.
Yep.
Decided I should finish college. So I took a break from it and got my BFA in graphic design, and just was kind of burnt out. I actually had a custom moto graphics company while I was in college, and it kind of sucks the fun out of the races when all your buddies owe you money and they're showing up with new pipes on their bikes, but they still haven't paid you for your graphics yet.
Oh.
And I didn't know jack about running a business back then either. It was college. I just wanted to go out and have a good time and race.
Yep.
But so finished college. Last six or so years, I've been a marketing consultant for the water sports and wakeboard industry, also shooting photo and video. And then with the end of 2019 came the close of some contracts with some long-term clients. And, Evil Coffee was originally created as a passion project where I didn't have to run ideas up the ladder for approval and have them get shot down due to lack of budget or logistics, or, that idea isn't on point for this brand or that brand. I just wanted full creative control.
Right.
And it's been a super, super fun project. And I also wanted to get back into moto. I picked up a bike, another dirt bike, and just started riding trails and riding tracks. And it was really refreshing to go out and not trying to beat yourself up because you didn't have your best lap time type of a thing.
Right.
So we're getting back into riding for fun. We're getting back into a creative outlet. We're supplying the world. I guess the lower 48 with some badass coffee.
Yep.
And and that's kind of where we're at. Sorry, you might have to course correct me. I tend to fall down rabbit holes.
Yeah, but you got the whole thing in there. You got moto, you got dirt bikes, you got it. Yeah. So what's funny about this is, it's almost like you needed an outlet because you were, working within other, you were a consultant and doing marketing for other companies. So you're going to have to always work within their structure, their rules, their ideas. So at first it was almost like it'd be fun to just have my own thing.
Yeah.
More on the side maybe, but now it's turned into your number one thing.
Yeah, it is, and it's not where we want it to be yet, but it's not where we want it to be yet, but it is exceeded our expectations and where we would thought we would be today, if that makes sense.
Yep.
The response has been great. We know where we want it to go, and we're just along for the ride.
So, yeah, people subscribe right now. They can get a free bag of coffee, our Deadline blend, which I did not even realize I was sampling while we had our company retreat at the beginning of December. Ross, unfortunately, it was a really late night. So when I came downstairs, coffee had already been made. So, and it was not very early when I finally made it back down. I didn't know that was our evil coffee sampler. I was just like, give me something now.
You guys, that's only a couple hours away, so you guys will have to call me in for the next round, and I'll make sure coffee's rolling.
All right, no worries. Yeah, we'll bring you to Snowshoe. So people can get it if they subscribe to the magazine, but just sell me here on why they would go to evilcoffee.com, evilcoffeecompany.com, and get some for themselves.
It's good vibes and premium coffee.
Yep.
We are all about having fun. Really, what I would like, obviously buying this coffee supports us, but don't go to our website if you are in love with Starbucks. Because,
Straight up.
Because we get messages all the time saying, "Oh, I just had Starbucks house blend and it absolutely sucks now." So we are gladly ruining Starbucks for everyone. So yeah, evilcoffeecompany.com. We've got 3 roasts right now. We're working on cold brew. We're working on decaf. If we have requests, we might go with a French with an espresso grind. Well, that's easily available. I just turn in a dial on the grinder.
Yep.
But we got a light, which is our idle speed. We've got a parade lap, which is our medium blend, and then our whiskey throttle, our dark roast. And then we also have a subscription program because nothing is worse than running out of coffee,
right?
Especially when you're getting ready to load up the RV and drive 20 hours across country to a race.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 4 bags a month. If you need more than 4 bags, give us a ring. If you're a business and are, buying coffee for your office, we can do bulk orders as well. So that's us. As of right now, all we have is coffee, but we're working on apparel. We're working on a bunch of fun stuff right now.
Well, what's cool is, so your logo is a guy with a helmet on. It says ride or die. Your flavors or whatever you want to call it there are all kind of racing, riding themed. You could support the big Starbucks if you want, but this is as much of a startup. You're helping a guy out and a guy's an enthusiast as you could possibly get. You're not some big company. It's you and you're an enthusiast.
For sure. And It's not just supporting me. The goal with Evil, I actually had American Retrocross just reach out to us, is to give back as well. I mean, I remember my first sponsorship acceptance letter that I got in the mail. I guess it's all done by email nowadays. And that was the coolest thing ever. It's a 10% discount from, it was Sidewinder Sprockets before I even had my first race. And it was the coolest feeling ever. So to be able to give back to grassroots athletes, support races, support larger events, hopefully in the future, is something that we're looking forward to as well. We are literally a few hours away from signing a contract with 1% for the Planet, where we're going to give 1% of our total proceeds to environmental nonprofits to help keep this big world of ours spinning. So that's another cool thing as well, just trying to help out and mitigate impact on things like that. That's pretty much what we're all about right now. As we are a one-man show, so there's a lot of things on the to-do list, and we're slowly checking them off. Yeah,
well, it's just cool. Like I said, you could just get Starbucks like everybody else, or you could do this where it's kind of going to a cause and it's helping the sport a little bit, and you're going to give back, and it's a moto guy. So evilcoffeecompany.com. That's awesome. Or subscribe to the magazine and then test it, and then once you test it, then you'll probably want to subscribe to the coffee also, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
My last thing is my brand, this is on brand for me. I'm extremely cheap, right? So I am willing to, if I have a half cup of coffee I didn't finish one day, I will put it in the microwave. I'll have the worst stuff. So if there's someone, now I've gotten to have your coffee. I've gone to other people's places where they actually have good coffee, and I can notice the difference. I actually can. But if there's another person like me out there listening saying, dude, whatever, coffee's coffee, right? Explain the differences between brewing good coffee and having good coffee compared to really bad coffee. Because I had to learn myself. So yeah.
It's like cracking open your Budweiser versus cracking open your favorite microbrew.
Yep.
Evil Coffee is specialty coffee. We roast in about 25-pound batches at a time. We roast to order. We roast coffee. Coffee is at its maximum freshness for 4 weeks.
Wow.
It holds that maximum, and then after 4 weeks, it starts to deteriorate very slightly. For instance, like I was gone last week on a snowboard trip, so we still have a little bit of coffee lingering from our roasting on January 6th, but I drink it every morning to make sure it's fresh, and if it's not fresh, I'm going to trash it and we're going to roast some more. We're roasting some more next week. So that's really cool. But, really coffee's good for about a month or 2 months before the general person would notice a difference. Your coffee snob is obviously going to notice the difference, but we are aiming for maximum freshness, maximum flavor, and that's what you're going to get. And there's nothing, gas station coffee will do at 3 a.m. in the middle of nowhere. But our thing is, think in advance, fill up a thermos, and have your supply for the whole road trip, so to speak.
Okay, that's Ross. That's pretty cool. So you can get the big brand coffee, or you can support evilcoffeecompany.com. A moto guy wants to give some of the proceeds back to the moto industry. Get yourself a bag for free right now. Just subscribe to the magazine or have the coffee delivered to your house so you don't have to keep worrying about running out. Pretty cool concept. That's it for our show this week. I've got Caleb Russell dialed in for next week. Caleb is the 7-time consecutive champion of Grand National Cross Country, and he has announced that he will pursue the championship only one more year. He's going to go for 8. Either way, he is not racing GNCC full-time anymore past this 2020 season. It's a couple weeks away, the opener. So I got to talk to Caleb last night. That'll be next week's podcast. And if you're a West Coast guy especially and you do not care about GNCC at all, this is why this podcast is cool. I knew as soon as I heard that Caleb was done, I knew exactly why. It is the same scenario that I saw Ryan Villopoto deal with, and to a lesser degree, Ryan Dungey. When you win the title over and over and over, really takes the joy out of it, because eventually you get to the point where you're more afraid of finally losing it than you are joyous over winning it again. That is the pressure of being the guy at the top year after year after year. You have no room for error. If you have one bad race, that leads to a bad season, it is an absolute disaster, and everyone is saying, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong? It's something that only a guy who's won the title many, many years in a row has to deal with. Tomac and Roczen, they deal with it to a lesser degree. Cooper Webb, one title, deals with it to a lesser degree. Jason Anderson, one title, deals with it to a lesser degree. Here's the gospel on this. When Ryan Villopoto stepped away and did not defend his title in 2015, I remember Chad Reed getting interviewed and people saying, can you believe this guy's retired? Chad, you'll never retire. You're still here. He's gone. Can you believe this? And even the practically unretirable Chad Reed said this in 2015, just 5 years ago. He said, honestly, if I had won 4 in a row like Ryan, I might have done exactly what he did. Life at the top is very difficult. So whether you follow Woods Racing or not, I think you'll learn a lot about the racer's mentality with our show next week. It's the Racer X Exhaust Podcast brought to you by Yoshimura. Thanks for listening. See you at the races.